So I thought this video made sense because next month, February, will make it 3 years that I've had the AVM70. And if you guys have been here for at least 3 years, you guys know that I was an early adopter. So I was here through all the bugs and the updates and the beta stuff and issues and things not working and ARC not working and not getting some features and not having 8K. I was here when they first rolled it out for the mass. So I wanted to give an update on how I feel about it now, because obviously it's still a current product that you can buy right now. It's going to be around for a while, and a lot of people are wondering, is it time to get an AVM70? So I'm going to break this down this way. I want to talk about what I like about it, what I don't like about it, of course, and was it worth the $4,000 that I spent back 3 years ago? So the AVM70 is currently in my home. I've had it in 2 different homes, this home right now, and then in my apartment. So I've had it in 2 different total environments. And I will go ahead and just clear it. I absolutely still love it the same that I did when I first got it. And even though it had a lot of problems, I vouched for it very heavily back 3 years ago, and I vouch for it very heavily now. I still think at the $4,000 price point, there is not a better processor out there. You have to spend a lot more money to beat this. Now you're into Trinov and things like that. So if you're looking for a processor around $4,000, there is only one clear winner, and that is the Anthem AVM70. And here's why. Sound quality is absolutely superb. I don't know that there's anything better out there, again, at the price point, that can beat this in sound quality. There are better DACs in the AVM90, and you get more subwoofer channels. That is a really nice appeal. But AVM70 is where it's at when it comes to sound quality. It makes bad speakers sound bad and good speakers sound great because it really exposes your setup. With the AVM70, there's a lot of technology built into that processor that's really going to help your sound as good as it possibly can. And if you have bad speakers, it'll expose it. If you have great speakers, it'll utilize it. So if you're spending $4,000 on a preprocessor, you probably have or plan to have some pretty quality speakers to match. If you don't plan to or don't have high quality-ish speakers to pair with that AVM70, then you're wasting the capabilities of the AVM70, and I would get something a little lower tier, in my personal opinion. But it makes sense to match the AVM70 with speakers that can fully utilize it, because it has 15 channels of pre-processing. Then it has 2 dedicated channels for subwoofers, and it has one of the best calibrations on the market. And in order to get all of the 4,000 out of it, I truly think you got to pair some good speakers. So sound quality is top notch. It can only be beaten by some, and those that it is beaten by is more expensive. So let's talk about the calibration itself. ARC room correction, Genesis, ARC Genesis. I love what it does. It is one of the best set and forget type of calibrations. Most of you guys are familiar with Direct Live, Odyssey, YPow, Pioneer used to use MCACC, Onkyo used to use their own stuff now, but you guys have pretty much seen every calibration that's out there. And Anthem's a little higher tier than most Odyssey, like XTW2 or lower, and then YPow and whatever. Dirac is kind of, you know, some people like Dirac more than Anthem. It's a battle, but it's one of the best up there. And I love what it does because you can literally put your microphone where it tells you, press start, and then once it's done, never touch it, and you'll be absolutely satisfied with the sound that it gives you. It does a very good job getting most everything correct by itself without having to manually go back and fix anything or change anything that you may want changed. It's a set and forget type of system, to be honest with you. But if you want to set and forget it, then I think that you're not utilizing Anthem's true power, which is having the ability to go in there and change just about anything that you want to. You can change how things cross over. So if you want a steeper crossover on speakers that can't handle bass, you can set that. If you want your subwoofers to only have room correction down to 25 hertz and leave it alone under 20, you can do that. If you need more high end on your speakers, you can raise that. So there's a lot of things that you can do. If you need to measure your subs, if you're not sure where to place your subs, you can measure each spot for that sub and see what graph performs the best. It's incredible. So you get all that in the software on your computer whenever you upload or when you buy an Anthem product. It's absolutely stellar, and it changes everything for sound and how your speakers perform. But there is some problems. There are some things that I wish Anthem would let me do. Like, for example, yes, you can measure a sub and see how it sounds in your system, but you can't do two at a time. You got to do one. So you can't combine them both to see your overall response. You have to do one at a time and then kind of compare and see what's going on. So I wish that was different. There are some things inside the mini DSP that you can't do in Anthem, like time delay. Anthem does set delays and things, relative distance, but you can't do anything with it. It's going to do it all for you, and it does a great job, but you can't really do anything about adding a little millisecond delay to the left speaker or the right speaker. Granted, it does it all great on its own, but it doesn't let you play around with a lot of things, and I wish I had more hands-on in the Anthem Arc Genesis system. I wish I could control more than I can. You can control a lot, but I wish I could control just a little bit more. There's things that I wish that I could change that I can't. So it works flawlessly most of the time, especially now. They've rolled out so many updates, so that works great. So we talked about sound quality, we talked about the room correction, which kind of goes hand in hand, but let's talk about what I don't like about it, right? So the first thing is Roon Ready was supposed to be Roon Ready 3 years ago, and it's still not ready. And I know that they said that it's going to come out, and it will. I believe them, but geez, 3 years is a long wait for something that's already etched on the box. You know what I mean? And so, me personally, I've never used Roon. It's not that big of a deal, but I would love to because I've heard how well it integrates and how good it sounds and operates, and I want to try it out. I want to review it. I want to listen to music. I listen to music all the time. So I want to use it because it was something that it was in my price tag, and I still today can't use it. Also, this doesn't matter. This is a nitpick, but what I don't like I told you guys, when I bought my Anthem AVM70, it was $4,000. If you buy one today, it is also $4,000. But when I bought mine, they didn't have 8K boards in them. So if I want to put an 8K board inside my AVM70 for 8K HDMI, the newest, latest HDMI, I have to send the unit to them and then pay for them to put that board in. So I believe I pay for the shipping to do that, and then I pay for them to actually do that, which is $500, and then they'll send it back. So my overall cost for my AVM70 will be $4,500, but if you buy one today, it's $4,000. So anybody who early adopted pays more than anybody who didn't, which kind of stinks. I wish that they gave early adopters just a free shipping label. I send it to you. You put the boards that you're already putting into your new ones anyway, and you send it back. I wish that we could do that and show proof of purchase, and boom, that's how you take care of the customers who were on, you're supporting the Anthem and everything before they got good, because the Anthem AVM70 was when it first came back, but we stuck with you. So it'd be nice to see them treat the early adopters. I might be asking for too much. I don't know. All I know is that I paid $4,000. I don't want to have to pay any more because I've already owned it for 3 years. But that's just me. I might just be complaining. Oh well. So the only other thing that I don't like about the AVM70 is sometimes it freezes, and it's very rare. But it does freeze. Sometimes if I'm changing an input, it'll freeze. Sometimes if I'm using Anthem room correction and I'm messing with things, I'm trying to send my new correction to it, it freezes. Sometimes when I'm turning up the volume or I push too many buttons too fast, whatever, it freezes. And not only does the remote freeze, but the unit itself freezes. So pushing buttons on the AVM70 does nothing. So what do I have to do? I have to shut down the whole system. Problem with that is that I'm running HDMI CEC, which means that when I turn off my AVM70, everything goes off with it. And the only way to turn off the AVM70 when it's froze is to unplug. But I have it on a surge protector, on a power conditioner. So I got to turn off the entire system and boot the whole system up. And so it's annoying. It doesn't happen very often, but it does happen. My Marantz preprocessor never did that to me. As far as I remember, this Anthem AVM70 does. But again, super rare, but it happens enough for me to remember to tell you about it. It shouldn't happen, but it is what it is. It's not like a deal breaker or whatever. It's just annoying for that moment. So as you can see, there's not a lot of things that I don't like about the AVM70 because there isn't a lot of things to not like about the AVM70. If I didn't have one today and I was looking on the market, I would buy one because they are so good with getting things right, making sure your room sounds good, making sure your speakers are set up properly. If you're somebody who isn't confident in calibration and setting things up and making sure your settings are right, honestly, people say the AVM70 Art Genesis is complicated. But again, it's one of the best things where you can set it and forget it. It's going to do so many things right that you can confidently trust what it does and not have to worry about going back behind it and making adjustments. Usually, if you make adjustments in the room correction, it's just because you have a preference that you would like to have. Not that it got something wrong necessarily, but more so that you just like a certain style, and Anthem doesn't necessarily do that for you, so you just make a few tweaks. But you're not really fixing anything. When I run Anthem, I go back and make my own change, like crossover or whatever, or maybe add a little bit of low bass to my subs or whatever. But that's not because I got it wrong, that's just because that's my taste. So I have to give my flowers to Anthem because ARC is phenomenal and I love it, and it's the new bar for me. Anything I buy will have to have ARC in it or something I know is better or as good. So I love my Anthem. I don't have any plans on getting rid of it, and I've loved it so much that I didn't even know that it's been 3 years. I've been loving it ever since, and so time has flown when I'm having fun. I guess you probably heard that before. So that's gonna be it for my 3-year review of the Anthem AVM70. If you are on the fence of getting one, go get it. If you think you want something better, there are things better, but prepare to spend, another 3, 4, 5 grand. Anything underneath it in price tag is not as good. I'm just going to say that. That's my opinion. So, I love my Anthem. Go get one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay warm out there. It is 10 degrees right now where I'm at, and tomorrow will be -6. So stay warm where you are. Take care. Hit that subscribe button if you're not already, and we will see you in the next video. Kpaceguy out. Peace.